Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
His authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
All right, guys. Today's court hearing is absolutely wild. We've got Matthew Aldridge. At least that's what the paperwork says. But the guy standing at the podium? Oh no. He's pulling the classic, I don't have a name routine. Instead, he's calling himself an attorney of fact. Quick reality check. That's not a recognized legal title. It's one of those phrases that sounds official, but has zero standing in actual law. If you've watched this channel before, you already know the playbook. Sovereign citizen types love to argue that the court doesn't have jurisdiction over them. They claim they're separate.
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent mayor.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in the court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't we court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me.
Have a copy of it.
Oh, apparently there's a copy here.
I mean, it's one thing to call yourself an attorney of fact, but this guy actually doubled down. He handed the judge a piece of paper to prove it. Now you guys didn't really get to see it because that part dragged a bit, but the document basically quoted what appears to be a completely made-up law that supposedly gives him the authority to represent the person Matthew Aldridge. Here's the reality. Real attorneys have to be licensed by the state. They have to pass the bar exam. They're bound by professional conduct rules and actual procedural law. You don't just print out a document at home, invent a statute, and suddenly gain legal authority. That's not how any of this works. And as usual, the argument circles back to jurisdiction. Sovereign citizen types love to treat jurisdiction like it's optional, as if saying, I don't consent somehow strips the court of power. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Courts operate on established statutes, constitution.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an article pretrial?
To what?
Would that be an article pretrial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly, it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. But to Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
This judge is handling this guy like an absolute pro. He stays calm, measured, and completely in control, while shutting down every argument almost the second it leaves the podium. The defendant barely even got momentum behind this whole attorney of fact routine before the judge dismantled it piece by piece. And you can tell this isn't the judge's first rodeo. When the guy started quoting those so-called laws, the made-up statutes that don't actually exist, the judge didn't argue emotionally. He didn't get loud. He just methodically broke it down and made it clear none of it had any legal standing. Now, I'll admit, the moment where the judge joked about the guy not being able to even say his own name, that was funny. You don't usually see judges crack that kind of...
Then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business.
Sovereign citizens really are something else. These are individuals who believe they can opt out of the legal system simply by claiming they don't recognize the government's authority. You'll hear them reference things like common law or the UCC, which stand for the Uniform Commercial Code, but almost always in a way that completely misunderstands what those laws actually mean. Let's be clear about something. Courts operate under federal, state, and local law, legal frameworks that have existed for centuries and are grounded in constitutional authority. There is no hidden loophole where you can just declare the rules don't apply to you. That's not how the legal system works. And yet, these arguments continue to pop up in courtrooms across the country. They clog dockets, waste judicial resources, and ultimately accomplish nothing, except making the situation worse for the person trying them. Legally speaking, the entire sovereign citizen defense collapses under one basic concept: jurisdiction. If you are physically present within a court's geographic territory, that court has jurisdiction over you. Period. You don't get to override that by refusing to say your name or by citing internet theories. Those ideas might sound convincing in online echo chambers, but judges have heard it all before, and they shut it down fast. And for anyone thinking about trying this to dodge taxes or fight a traffic ticket, it doesn't just fail. In many cases, it can lead to additional penalties for filing frivolous motions or wasting the court's time. Personally, I don't understand why people keep attempting this strategy. Do they truly believe they're outsmarting the system? Or is it just a form of rebellion dressed up as legal theory? Either way, it rarely ends well. At the end of the day, they're not dismantling the system. They're just damaging their own case.